that Taylor Swift had been blackmailed basically from Blake Lively and
That Blake Lively tried to blackmail Taylor Swift?
can you imagine if someone decided to publish all the text messages on your phone? It's awful.
Taylor Swift has decided to stand by Justin Baldoni instead of her so-called best friend. But trust me, this is exactly what she deserves. How can you back someone who actually threatened to spill 10 years' worth of your private conversations just to force you to support them publicly?
And Blake Lively said, if you don't show support for me on social media or publicly, I'm going to leak 10 years of text messages.
10 years of personal conversations being held hostage for social media endorsements. That's some next-level manipulation. This isn't just your average feud or petty argument. This is weaponizing someone's most private moments, the kind of stuff that's meant to stay between friends, to serve as memories, or even healing conversations, turned into a legal threat. The sheer audacity of using something so intimate as leverage in a high-profile lawsuit paints a picture of desperation and ruthlessness.
Blake Lively had asked Taylor Swift to delete text messages between them from 4 or 5 months before this phone call actually took place with Brian Friedman and this source,
Even more wild is that Blake reportedly demanded Taylor delete certain text messages months before the subpoenas started flying. This wasn't an impulsive move or a heat-of-the-moment demand. This was calculated, premeditated.
indicate that Blake Lively was already trying to get rid of evidence back in like September, October.
The fact that Blake was trying to scrub conversations suggests that whatever was in those messages could seriously damage her case or reputation. It raises all sorts of questions about what was being hidden.
Either she explained to Taylor what they were planning to do to Justin Baldoni, and she didn't want that to be out there and didn't want that to be public or didn't want it to be found.
Were there contradictions in Blake's story? Evidence of lies? Or perhaps details that would reveal the truth behind the claims made in court? Whatever it was, Blake wanted it gone before anyone could see it. It's a classic move straight out of a thriller. Cover your tracks before the storm hits. But in real life, especially in the court of public opinion, the attempt to erase history can sometimes just make people more curious and suspicious. Blake's legal team has aggressively denied the blackmail allegations, of course. But here's the thing, they haven't outright disproven them. They throw out fiery denials and accusations of misconduct against Justin Baldoni's team and their lawyer, Brian Friedman. But they haven't provided concrete evidence to prove the claims are false. That silence on the specifics keeps the suspicion alive. It's the kind of deny but don't clear tactic that makes people wonder if there's some truth hiding in the shadows.
Why did Blake ask Taylor Swift to delete their text messages that they had between the two of them? There must have been something in there that contradicted what she sued Justin Baldoni for.
When serious allegations are met with vague denials rather than solid rebuttals, it creates an aura of doubt. People naturally fill in the blanks, often not in favor of the accused. The aggressive tone from Blake's side sounds defensive, as if they're trying to fight off something damaging without having the ammunition to fully clear their name.
Out, even though it was a sworn statement that Brian Friedman added to the letter saying this is not just some source that I found, this is a source that's willing to go on the record if that would be necessary, and he's sworn that this is true, basically.
Adding even more weight to the claims is the sworn affidavit from Brian Friedman. This isn't a casual statement. It's a legal document with his career and reputation on the line. If anything in it is false, he risks perjury charges and serious professional consequences. So when he says Blake threatened Taylor, demanded deletions of texts, and tried to intimidate her through her attorney, it's not some rumor tossed around in tabloids. It's a carefully constructed legal allegation backed by a professional willing to stake everything on its truth. That makes the accusations harder to dismiss and forces people to take them seriously.
Also, as you know, Taylor Swift has still not come out and commented on this. She has been so quiet, meaning, I mean, it's so obvious to me that Taylor Swift is behind this.
On the other side of this mess is Taylor Swift's strategic silence. Unlike her usual outspoken self, remember how vocally she supported Keisha during her legal battle, Taylor has chosen not to make any public statements about these explosive allegations. This silence is deafening, and for those who know her history, it sends a clear message.
Why did Taylor Swift not support Blake Lively from the start? And I think that could also be in those text messages between the two of them, you know, that she knew that there wasn't any SH going on that set, and that's why she didn't want to support her friend.
When Taylor doesn't defend herself or dismiss these claims, it often means she's letting her actions speak louder than words. This quietness shows control and calm in a storm, and in this case, it may also be a way of tacitly confirming Blake's blackmail attempts without giving them the spotlight. It's a powerful move to not engage publicly in a scandal that's obviously meant to discredit her.
I think everyone has to agree that what Brian Friedman did was really genius. And I think you have to keep in mind also that Taylor Swift wanted this.
Behind the scenes, Taylor's legal and PR teams have been busy. Reports suggest they've been working closely with Justin Baldoni's attorney, leaking crucial information that chips away at Blake's credibility. This kind of calculated release of information is classic legal strategy. Make sure the truth comes out in ways that matter most, through legal channels, rather than messy public spats. It also shows that Taylor's camp isn't just sitting idle. They're actively dismantling Blake's position quietly and effectively.
I think for Taylor Swift to go out now and actually expose this is really smart, because as you know, Blake was threatening to leak their text messages. If she would leak them now, that would look terrible, and also we would know it was coming from her. So this was a great way for Taylor to actually just shut that down.
Taylor's silence combined with these legal maneuvers shows a masterclass in damage control and power play. She's not letting the drama consume her publicly, but is ensuring that the truth surfaces in the right places. This approach preserves her image while simultaneously standing strong behind the scenes. It's a reminder that sometimes the loudest voice in a fight isn't the one shouting, but the one quietly taking control.
One reason was that he said that this is not relevant in this case that we have going here between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Judge Louis J. Lyman made a major move when he dismissed the subpoena motion that targeted Taylor Swift's attorney. But don't get it twisted. This dismissal wasn't because the claims lacked weight or were outright false.
What the judge said yesterday is that you can't talk about this on my docket, meaning in his court in New York, because Venable LLP, which is the law firm that Taylor Swift's lawyer is a partner in, are based in DC.
The judge simply said that his court didn't have the authority to decide on this matter because Taylor's lawyers operate out of Washington, DC, and the case was being handled somewhere else. So the fight isn't done. It's just being shifted to another court.
So what he could do now is basically file the same thing in DC.
Now the battle moves to DC, where Taylor's legal team is based, which means the case is going to face even more attention and closer legal inspection. This move also brought Taylor's team some breathing room and gave them better control over how the story unfolds next.
And he said that this was kind of salacious and it was to promote a public scandal.
What's more, the judge wasn't shy about calling out those behind the subpoena motion. He openly criticized them for turning the legal process into a public spectacle. He said their filing was more about stirring up drama and scandal than about advancing the actual case. Courts are meant to deal with facts, evidence, and justice, not to be used as a stage for media theatrics. The judge made it clear that court dockets should not be turned into tabloid fodder. Yet, ironically, the filings blew up in the media anyway. Even though the judge wanted to keep the courtroom serious and focused, the public attention grew massively. This ruling didn't close the chapter. It just redirected the fight, moving it to a different venue and giving all sides more time to prepare their next moves.
But I really think what Friedman wanted to do here was to get all this information out in public. And I also think that's what he did, and he achieved his.
Behind the scenes, this legal battle is far from quiet. Brian Friedman, the lawyer representing Justin Baldoni and the others involved in the case, has had repeated phone calls with someone very close to Taylor Swift. These aren't just casual chats, they're serious strategy sessions, showing that Taylor's camp is fully involved and coordinating with Baldoni's legal team. The timing of leaks and court filings feels like a carefully crafted plan designed to keep pressure on Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, leaving them scrambling to respond. It's a smart, if ruthless, way to control the narrative and keep public opinion leaning in their favor.
Documents showing that this conversation between Taylor Swift's lawyer and Blake Lively's lawyer actually took place, and that he was basically threatened to tell Taylor Swift to post public support for Blake.
Blake's lawyer, Michael Goddle, is also playing a key role in this battle. Reports say he reached out to Taylor's legal team to push for deleting text messages that could hurt Blake's case. He also allegedly pressured Taylor to publicly back Blake in the lawsuit. These tactics go beyond normal legal defense. They raise questions about intimidation and unethical behavior. This fight isn't just about what happened or didn't happen on set or in court. It's a battle over who controls the story, which side gets to shape what the public believes, and how the details are presented. It's a struggle between the cold, hard facts locked in court files and the messy, often manipulated world of media and public perception.
Because at that point, this must have been in September, October, at that time, she already knew that she was going to file a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Or maybe she had like a crush on Justin Baldoni and she shared that with Taylor Swift. There was something in those text messages that Blake Lively didn't want us to see.
One of the most troubling aspects of this case is the possibility that private text messages and personal communications could become public court evidence. This means that what was once considered confidential between friends could be laid bare for everyone to see. For those caught in the middle of this fight, that's a heavy emotional burden. Every word sent, every private conversation could be examined, dissected, and used as a weapon. Protecting privacy while dealing with the demands of the court adds a painful layer of complexity to what is already a tangled, high-stakes drama.
One reason was that he said that this is not relevant in this case that we have going here between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Judge Lyman's ruling highlights the limits of jurisdiction in these tangled cases. His dismissal based on venue rules shows that sometimes legal battles aren't about the truth or falsehood of claims, but about where and how they can be fought. Moving the case to D.C. courts means the fight will continue in a place where Taylor's legal team can better protect her interests and manage the flow of information. This shift also allows for new legal tactics and a fresh start in the courtroom, which can change how evidence and testimonies are presented.
And he said that this was kind of salacious and it was to promote a public scandal.
Despite the judge's comments, the media frenzy around the case is undeniable. The public is deeply interested in the allegations of blackmail, deleted texts, and pressure tactics. Even with attempts to keep the legal process formal and private, the stories leak out and fuel speculation. This shows how difficult it is to separate the court drama from the celebrity gossip when famous names are involved. The courtroom becomes a stage for a much bigger story about power, loyalty, and betrayal.
I think Taylor's silence throughout this entire process is the evidence that nothing really happened.
Meanwhile, the coordination between Brian Friedman and Taylor's inner circle demonstrates the importance of insider knowledge and strategy. These phone calls and planned leaks are tools to carefully chip away at Blake Lively's credibility. Instead of reacting emotionally in public, Taylor's team is working quietly and methodically to make sure the truth comes out on their terms. This kind of behind-the-scenes work can be far more effective than loud public statements, especially when the stakes are so high. As this legal drama moves forward, it will be important to watch how the control of information shifts and how the public narrative evolves. The stakes are high. and the emotional cost is real. What happens next will not just affect the outcome of the lawsuit, but the reputations and futures of those involved. The fight is far from over, and every move will be carefully watched by both the courts and the public eye.
Also a really smart way from Taylor Swift to distance herself from Blake Lively without really saying anything. You know, she's doing everything through her lawyers. She's just sitting there like playing the game really.
The fallout from this whole mess between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift is brutal and very real. What started as a friendship that seemed solid has now been shattered beyond repair. They don't even talk directly anymore. Every single communication passes through lawyers. That's not a sign of a healthy relationship. It's cold, distant, and businesslike. When two people who once shared a close bond have to rely on their legal teams just to speak, you know things have gone south in a big way. It's not just about the lawsuit anymore. It's about trust completely broken and friendships left in ruins.
Now there's also stories that Gigi Hadid has been distancing herself from Blake Lively. I commented on that a couple of weeks ago because I thought it was really weird that Blake Lively didn't show up at Gigi Hadid's.
And it's not just them. People who used to be mutual friends are picking sides, and the drama is playing out for the world to see. Gigi Hadid, someone who was once in that inner circle, has made it clear she's stepping away from Blake.
Gigi Hadid has come out and said that she feels terrible that her close friend is being pulled into the legal drama, of course talking about.
Despite past closeness, Gigi has distanced herself, siding more with Taylor. That kind of shift sends a powerful message. When your closest friends start walking away, it's a sign that the damage isn't just legal, it's deeply personal. It also shows how complicated these celebrity friendships become when lawsuits drag everyone into the spotlight.
You know, just that little Easter egg she planted through Travis Kelce when he unfollowed Ryan Reynolds the day she was subpoenaed. It's so obvious that she wanted them to know, you know, F you.
Social media is another place where this fallout is visible. Small actions like Travis Kelce unfollowing Ryan Reynolds might seem trivial, but in celebrity terms, it's a major signal. These breadcrumbs hint at personal betrayals and alliances falling apart. Behind the scenes, people are choosing sides, and those choices ripple out in ways that affect public perception. Every unfollow, every silent social media gesture adds fuel to the fire and keeps the story alive. It's a reminder that in today's world, relationships are not just private, they're public performances, judged by millions.
I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that I tell my friends absolutely everything, and it never ends up getting out.
Yeah, she tells her friends a lot, and she trusts her friends because things never get out.
What's happening here is bigger than just one friendship gone bad. It shows how celebrity relationships get tangled up in legal battles, where loyalty and trust are tested like never before. When personal ties clash with legal fights, everything changes. Friendships aren't just about feelings anymore. They become part of public image wars, reputation battles, and power struggles. What was once private and personal gets exposed on a huge stage, and the consequences aren't just emotional, they affect careers and public standing. This messy collision of personal and legal worlds reshapes how people see these relationships. It's not just about who's right or wrong in court. It's about how people choose to protect themselves, their image, and their future. The way these friendships break down publicly makes us realize how fragile trust is when money, fame, and lawsuits get involved. And it reminds us that even the closest connections can fall apart when the pressure is turned up.
How can anyone be smiling when this is happening to them? And how can anyone go out in public and dine in a restaurant with another celebrity?
On the other side of the story is Blake Lively's public image, which is taking a serious hit. Watching her out there during this legal storm, the forced smiles and stiff poses tell their own story. It's clear she's under huge pressure, and she's struggling to keep it together. When someone's trying too hard to look fine but everything feels off, people notice. That kind of tension doesn't just go away with good lighting or a well-placed camera. It seeps through, and the public can feel it.
And when you look at the photos of Blake Lively strolling in New York the same day as this news broke with Taylor Swift, I have never seen a more forced smile in my entire life than what you see.
A perfect example of this is the awkward PR stunt with Salma Hayek. The body language between them says more than words ever could. There's physical distance, hesitations, and moments where Selma seems uncomfortable around Blake. Blake tries to get close, to show a united front, but Selma's pulling back.
How can anyone be smiling when this is happening to them? And how can anyone go out in public and dine in a restaurant with another celebrity?
It's like the smile is there, but the trust isn't. Moments like this show that even in front of the cameras, where everything is planned, the cracks show through. It's a visual sign that Blake's alliances are shaky and her support network might be weakening.
The day after the premiere of It Ends With Us, this is what she said about her friendships.
Blake's whole narrative about friendship and support starts to look pretty self-centered when you compare it to what's really happening behind the scenes. She talks about loyalty and bonds, but the evidence piling up suggests manipulation and fractured relationships. When people see this disconnect, public opinion can shift fast. The story of Blake as a victim fighting for her reputation begins to fade, replaced by a picture of someone using those closest to her as pawns in a bigger game.
Just because she wants to be seen, and this is the thing with Blake Lively, as you know, she wants to be seen all the time. I think this is also a part of the narcissism.
This shift in how people view Blake is partly about media savvy, but also about authenticity. In today's world, audiences are quick to spot when someone's image doesn't match reality. No amount of PR can fully mask the feeling when someone seems to be struggling or trying too hard to keep up appearances. It's a delicate balance, and Blake seems to be losing it. The public is turning from sympathy to skepticism as the legal drama and personal betrayals become clearer.
They want to be in the spotlight all the time. They get addicted to that attention and for people to follow them and take photos of them.
In celebrity culture, maintaining an image isn't just about looking good, it's about being believable. When cracks appear and stories don't add up, fans and the media dig deeper. Blake's court meltdown and the slow unraveling of her friendships are making it harder for her to keep that believable image. The more the legal and personal issues mix, the harder it becomes to control the narrative. And when the narrative slips away, the court of public opinion can be unforgiving.
How all these new feminists who were supporting Blake Lively so much online, and now they're like, oops, what do we do now? The woman that we were supporting blindly is now trashing another woman and threatening another woman.
The silence from Hollywood's usual defenders is deafening when it comes to Blake Lively right now. You'd expect the Believe All Women crowd and the feminist allies to rally around her, especially with such serious allegations flying around. But instead, what we get is radio silence. That absence speaks volumes, because in situations like this, genuine support is crucial, not just for public image, but for legal battles too. When allies go quiet, it leaves someone feeling isolated and vulnerable. For Blake, this isolation deepens the crisis she's facing, making the whole situation even tougher to handle.
How all these new feminists who were supporting Blake Lively so much online, and now they're like, oops, what do we do now? The woman that we were supporting blindly is now trashing another woman and threatening another woman.
Hollywood's support networks tend to be selective and sometimes strategic. They pick and choose when to show up, often based on what's popular or safe to defend. It's a game of public loyalty where being quiet can be just as powerful as speaking out. The fact that many powerful communities remain silent on Blake's behalf affects how the public sees her and how her legal team can build momentum. Silence from those who should stand up for you can shift the narrative and weaken your position, both in court and in the court of public opinion.
Also a really smart way from Taylor Swift to distance herself from Blake Lively without really saying anything. You know, she's doing everything through her lawyers. She's just sitting there playing the game, really.
Taylor's camp has been smart, strategically leaking damaging information through legal channels to dismantle Blake's credibility. Instead of fighting in the tabloids, they're using the court system itself to turn the tide.
How Blake's team now is probably trying to bury this story on Google.
The filings accuse Blake's team of witness tampering and intimidation, showing that behind the glitz and glamour lies a ruthless battle where private relationships are exploited for advantage. It's a messy, high-stakes game where loyalty is tested and personal boundaries are crossed in pursuit of victory. So guys, for now, that's it from Blake and Taylor Swift's side, but definitely there are many more coming. To be updated, subscribe now and hit the bell icon.